and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be continuing the Etat Libre d'Orange reviews, and I've got 3 more for you today. I've got, again forgive my pronunciation on these, I've got Bijou Romantique, Putain de Palaces, and Jasmin cigarette. Okay, so these 3 I've specifically chose to do these 3 together because they're kind of like the slut range, I guess. It's kind of, they're all quite heavy fragrances. They're all quite controversially titled, and I think they're all trying to make a statement, and so I've decided to review these 3 together just because they kind of fit in terms of theme, right? Not in terms of smell, they're all very different, but in terms of just theme they seem to fit in my mind as being kind of a trio of fragrances. So I'm going to start with this one, Bijou, or Bijou, I really can't pronounce that, Romantique. So this is what the full-size bottle looks like. It's a little bit different from just the plain kind of arrowhead, what do you call it, a bullseye kind of pattern. It's a little bit different. I can't really work out. Oh, it's like a cameo necklace. I really don't know if you can see. It's like a little cameo woman surrounded by kind of a triangle pattern, and it's in rose pink and then kind of a burgundy pink colour and white. And the tagline for this is her price is far above rubies. So this is obviously supposed to be a very kind of classy, upper class fragrance. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a pretentious kind of vibe to this, as in, if I was to picture these 3 fragrances today as a woman, this one is, you know, probably someone who looks a bit like that cameo, kind of hair up and a kind of big gown on with lots of ruffles, who kind of thinks she's a little bit more important than she actually is, I think. The notes for this is bergamot, Italian lemon, pink berries essence, ylang ylang, clary sage, orris of Tuscany, vetiver of Haiti, benzoin, and vanilla. So I think from this note list you can't really work out how gourmand it's going to be. It's, you know, got a few, you know, benzoin and vanilla, maybe the berries. They kind of sound quite yummy, but this fragrance is actually, I'd say it's kind of overwhelmed by a powdery scent. And so, much like Shalimar and fragrances like that, there is a gourmandy dry down to it, or kind of a gourmandy undertone that runs along it, but it's kind of very, it's very much overtaken by the heavier notes. And in this case it is a very kind of heavy, sweet floral, but in a very powdery way. Kind of vibe that just clouds it. I'm just going to put a tiny bit on. It's a little bit kind of tangy, and I think that's the berries. It's very sweet with a kind of a tangy edge, and then it's got a, I don't know what this like kind of movement is. It shouldn't happen. Never mind. Yeah, it's just very powdery. It's like you've emptied a whole kind of tub of talcum powder over a plate of berries, and that is the opening, and that's kind of like what you would smell if you were just going to walk past someone who was wearing this in like a corridor. That is what you would smell. So say this woman who probably lives in a hotel, in my mind, who wears this fragrance, who is the personification of this fragrance, say she probably lives in a hotel and she was walking down the corridor, and she gives off quite an obnoxious vibe from this fragrance. It's that heavy powder and berries. I think if you were to wear this all the time, you would have to definitely tone it down, just kind of 1 squirt, please. Yeah. But there is a kind of almost caramelly vanilla undertone to this, even though I don't think there's... Oh, it's probably the benzoin and the vanilla. Is it benzoin or benzoin? Benzoin and vanilla, whatever it's called, benzoin and vanilla. That is kind of what is giving it that caramelly undertone. But it is, you know, it is always there, those 2 notes especially, but it's the powderiness that gives off the silage. gassy-ish, I don't know the word. That's what you really smell. Okay, so this isn't one of my favourite fragrances from this line, but it is a very statement fragrance, and so I can recommend this one maybe to like an older woman or man. Again, it's targeted more towards women, but obviously a man can wear it. I'd say a little bit older, someone who's very confident and can wear this and, you know, feel proud of it, but just please don't overdo it because it is very obnoxious. It's quite an obnoxious, pretentious fragrance no, it's not pretentious. I just imagine the woman wearing it in my mind as pretentious. Not to say that if you wear this you are pretentious, but that is just the kind of personification of this fragrance. But if you can like wear that with confidence, that is fantastic and you should do that, but not my favourite. Next is, should do Jasmin and cigarettes next. Okay, so this one is one of the ones that I hear about quite a lot when people talk about this house, because it's obviously the juxtaposition of jasmine and cigarettes, a bit like the one I reviewed the other week, bubblegum and incense. It's just kind of two things that shouldn't really go together but kind of work. And the bottle looks like this. It's the classic design again, the bullseye, and the tagline is iconic addiction, and I think that's a really kind of good way to sum it up. So the notes in this are jasmine absolute, tobacco notes, apricot, tonka bean, curcuma, cedarwood, amber and musk. Okay, so onto this fragrance. The personification I imagine of this fragrance is you know, kind of maybe a younger woman than the last one, but still quite mature, quite glamorous, and just someone who chain smokes all the time, but you know, kind of walks in a room and her presence is immediately known. She's kind of very cool even though she's a bit older. Yeah, I can imagine, you know, her walking into a club, like a vintage club from like the 20s or 30s, and her walking in her like short skirt with her head all you know, finger waved, and just everyone in the room notices her and everyone's very kind of attracted to her and so on. This one is very interesting because it's very floral and you definitely do get the jasmine, but it's also kind of got like a staleness to it, and it's not like, it doesn't really smell like someone's been kind of putting jasmine perfume on and smoking. It actually kind of smells like someone's put on jasmine perfume and then emptied a ashtray onto themselves. It's like more that kind of stale leftover ash, or like if someone spilled ash onto an old carpet, that kind of smell. It has got like a very kind of stale, stagnant smell, which kind of brings to mind this whole age thing. It smells like something from a different era, from a bygone era, and that is why I get that kind of 20s, 30s vibe from this, is because it kind of smells like old furniture and you know, moth-eaten clothes and things like that. I just find it such a fascinating fragrance. In terms of other notes that you can really smell, let's have a little smell. There is definitely a kind of tonka amber kind of undertone, a little bit of kind of sweetness, but unlike the last fragrance, the Romantique fragrance, it doesn't really give it like too much of a gourmand vibe. It's just kind of a little bit sweetness to the staleness. I wouldn't say this was a very appealing perfume. Probably not a lot of people like this, but I think it's a very fascinating perfume, and that's what makes me love this house so much, is just that you can wear a perfume and really enjoy wearing it just because it's bringing such a clear image to your mind of, you know, the concept of this perfume, but you probably wouldn't want to like hug someone wearing this or get close to someone wearing this, just in case they thought you were a bit weird. Yeah, but 2 thumbs up for that one. I do really like that one. Again, I probably wouldn't wear it. I have worn it in public. I do wear it in public, but I probably wouldn't purchase a full-size bottle of that just because I don't think it's something I'd want to smell of all the time. But yeah, it's a really nice concept and I do enjoy wearing it. The third one is Putain de Palaces. Again, accent, sorry, pronunciation. My sister speaks French. I definitely do not. I'm not moving to France, by the way. Thank goodness. Again, the bottle is the plain, and the tagline of this is Ritual of a Femme Fatale. And I believe the title of this roughly translates to kind of hotel whore or hotel slut. So the title of this is, I'd say, the most controversial so far, apart from maybe, you know, Secretions Magnifique, which I have done an impression review of, an impression video. Check it out. You know, I don't know why you'd want to, but just check it out. Okay, so this one, you know, I'd read about this before I got the Discovery set, and I was expecting something so, you know, groundbreakingly horrific, or, you know, something so slutty and amazing. It's like when Lady Gaga said that she wanted her perfume to smell of blood and semen, and she wanted to smell like a whore. It's like I expected what I expected from her, and I was disappointed with her, and I'm disappointed in this, because it's really not that in your face or slutty smelling at all. It's actually a very subtle, nice, pleasant violet scent. It's just kind of like violet water. It just smells pleasant and light and nice. Okay, so the notes in this are rose absolute, violet, leather, lily of the valley, tangerine, ginger, rice powder, amber, and animal notes. And of them, to be honest, I maybe get a little bit of the rosy undertone. It reminds me a tiny bit of Kate Moss, the first Kate Moss fragrance. Kind of like a kind of sweet rose. Oh, actually, no. I'm not thinking of Kate Moss Kate. I'm thinking of Kylie Minogue, Dazzling Darling. And that was a rose and violet fragrance. And that was very light and sparkling and fresh. This one isn't as kind of fizzy as that one smelled, even though it is a rose and violet. It's a little bit more powdery, but not too powdery. It's not too old lady-ish, you know, old lady-ish, I say it like that. It's just very subtle, very linear. I honestly cannot smell any of the other notes. Maybe the rice powder just gives it that lightness, but honestly nothing else. No kind of weird stale notes like in this one. No obnoxious, pretentious person like this one. So the woman I can imagine wearing this one, again, is just kind of a little bit glamorous, doesn't really want to be noticed that much, just wants to smell kind of light and airy and nice. So that one kind of ended on a, you know, flat, like, you know, it kind of, the fizz went out of that review, just because I'm kind of disappointed by it. But it's a pleasant fragrance. It's just not something I would expect from this house. It's just too kind of linear and boring. So of these three, I'd say my favourite is definitely Jasmin and Cigarettes. Jasmin cigarette. I just say Jasmin Cigarettes. Probably followed by Hotel Whore. And then the last one is the Romantique scent. But, you know, these two I probably wouldn't wear. I think I've only worn this, these two too. I've worn this one for a full day, actually. I have worn it for a full day. But this one I've just worn in the past to just try it out. Whereas this one I would actually wear, even if just to kind of amuse myself and so on. Okay, so thank you very much for watching my video once again. I'm down to, I think I'm down to the last 5 or 6 fragrances of this house to review. I know some of them I'm not going to be reviewing straight away, just because I'm going to have a whole video dedicated to certain fragrances. 2 of them that I'm going to have the full size of, and then another one that I would really like to purchase in the future is going to have its own full video as well. So in terms of ones I've got left to review, I think in kind of a clump video, there's probably only going to be 1 or 2 more videos where I review more than one at a time for this house, Etat Libre d'Orange. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this is just me blethering, and I should really write down what I'm supposed to say, because I always forget, and yeah, I'm really bad at pronunciation, but still, that these are just my impressions of it. That's quite, you know, spontaneous and so on. But thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you very soon. Bye.